when I did my reversion, which is one of the most happy days of your life, and you have this glow and you're wide open for these new changes.
برجاء أماني وإيمان أصلي وأدعو الرحمن بارك أولادنا وأهليهم بارك يا ربي وأعطيهم برجاء أماني وإيمان أصلي وأدعو الرحمن بارك أولادنا وأهليهم بارك يا ربي وأعطيهم املأ قلبي بالقرآن للأبد سلام وخير وعلم الكل المسلمين في ديننا وقرآننا نحيا بألفتنا متحدين. By faith and hope and wishes, I pray to Allah the Merciful, bless our little ones as our parents too. By faith and hope and wishes, I pray to Allah the Merciful, bless our little ones as our parents do, filled with the light of Quran forever.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My name is Vincent Simon. I've been a Muslim for a little over 2.5 years. I go by Salman. I grew up here in East Texas in Fort Worth, in a very religious Christian family. I have several pastors in my family. My father is a Baptist minister. I grew up in the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church and was very active in Sunday school. Those activities, I at one point preached my first sermon when I was 13 years old. I was very active in Christian leadership. My summers were spent in Christian summer camps. Like I said, my family is very religious. My mother has been active in the church. Have always had a very close relationship with God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all throughout my life. I went to high school here in Fort Worth, Texas. College also. Every year, almost every summer, to a Christian camp. After college, I joined the military. I spent 16 years in the military. I traveled to the Middle East, the Far East, and in the Middle East and Far East is where I was exposed to Islam. As I grew older, I don't want to say I became dissatisfied with Christianity, but the Christianity I saw was not the Christianity that was in my home. There seemed to be a lot of hypocritical people I was around, and there's a lot of church turmoil with hierarchy. A minister who I was very, very fond of and close to did some things and was outed from the church. But as I grew older, I seemed to drift away from my religion to a lot of things, and I still have a relationship with God, but I had shied away from organized religion. And I was looking for something different. In my time in college, I took a lot of religious courses, and it seemed that a lot of the ideas that I was raised on weren't quite right. And I had always had an issue with my belief in the Trinity and how those things worked. So for a long time, I was just a Christian. I didn't go to church, didn't practice, but I just tried to live my life right, like I knew. But at that same time, I also knew that something was missing in my life. I knew that I needed a deeper connection with God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so I started looking at Islam. For about 3 years before I converted, I started reading books on Islam. I started studying Islam because the things I had heard in the military about Islam just didn't ring true with me, especially after seeing the people in the Middle East and interacting with them. The things about terrorism and how these were all bad people and that they were somehow didn't believe in the same God that I believed in didn't ring true with me. And so I started researching Islam. Like I said, I read a lot. I watched a lot of YouTube videos from Mufti Mink to Omar Suleiman to Noman Ali Khan. And so I had seen some YouTube videos after I studied, and I had pretty much made up my mind that I was going to go ahead and become a Muslim. But I wanted to speak to some people of knowledge. And so I actually attended a couple of seminars at the Islamic Center of Irving with Imam Zia, not with the intent of taking my Shahada, but just learning more about Islam. There was a understanding Islam class and those sort of things. And those classes led me to a deeper understanding of Islam, which affirmed my belief that I wanted to be Muslim. So, being not a Muslim and having watched Noman Ali Khan's videos, I decided that I was going to become a Muslim. And I had gone to two different masjids to find somebody to take my Shahada with, and there was never anybody there because I didn't know prayer times. I didn't know what time people were going to be at the masjid. I always seen that when I came to the masjid, the only people there were cleaning people. There was never the imam there or other musallis. And so, like I say, not knowing who and how famous Noman Ali Khan was, I picked up the phone and I called Bayana campus. And I said, my name's Vincent Simon. I'm trying to become a Muslim. I've been trying to find an imam or somebody to take Shahada with. I can't find anybody. Where are you guys located? And they said, oh, we're in Irving. And you can come by and make an appointment to see Brother Noman Ali Khan. And so I talked to a sister there, Sister Nita Kazi, one of the people there at Bayana, and she made the appointment. And after a couple of misstarts, I was able to go and sit with Brother Noman Ali Khan. We talked for about 2 hours. He asked about my past, my reasons for wanting to become a Muslim. We talked about my understanding of Islam and the profoundness of the step I was about to take in my life. And I took my Shahada with Brother Noman Ali Khan. Alhamdulillah, it's very funny because as I became and met more Muslims, and they said, so who'd you take your Shahada with? And I said, oh, Noman Ali Khan. I did not realize that he was a superstar of Islam. I just thought he was a guy. And it was really funny because people would say, you did with Noman Ali Khan? And the look of shock and excitement on their face was like, you took your Shahada with Noman Ali Khan? Wow. But alhamdulillah, the brother gave me some great resources. I started attending the new Muslim classes at Islamic Center of Irving with Sister Delia Kambo. Alhamdulillah, they assigned me an Ansar, Brother Felipe Martin. And subhanAllah, the way Allah works, the brother was from the same background with me. He had been in the Marine Corps. So we had the same common background of history. And so he could relate to how I was and where I was coming from. Plus, the brother had been a Muslim for about 10 years. And he had a great wealth of knowledge. And he was my Ansar. And he helped ease my transition from being a non-Muslim into a Muslim. He helped me learn my prayers, all the social norms, left hand, right hand, all those things that a born Muslim knows because they're taught that from the time they're a small child. But that as an adult coming into Islam and not knowing anything about Islam, I didn't know all these social norms, all these, the little things and they make a big difference. And the brother helped me learn my prayers. He introduced me around the community. And probably the best advice I got from the brother was from his own experience. The brother said, when he was a new Muslim, the first thing he did was, have his pants up above his ankle. And, he was wearing a thobe with a crease sheet and everything else. And they used to make fun of him because of his zealousness. And the best advice he gave me was to take all things in moderation and do things gradually and learn what you're doing as you go along. Don't try to get too immersed in things and just do things because that's what you see other people doing. The other thing the brother told me was there's Islam and there's culture, and they don't go together. He says the Prophet ﷺ taught us, back from the time of Al-Halil, that, we give up culture when we become Muslims. And those cultural things, racism, classism, those sort of things, we give those up as we become Muslims. And we become one brotherhood, one ummah. And I look back now and all the difficulties I had as a new Muslim. I lost friends, loved ones who could understand. They seemed to say they felt betrayed, like I had become this other person. And it wasn't betrayal, it was just a change. Because we all believe in one God. There is only one God. But it's different. Sheikh Isa in Irving told me that he said, he looks at it this way. There's only one ocean that is God. And there's different pathways to the ocean. You have the Jewish pathway, the Christian pathway, the Muslim, and many others. But it's up to a person to decide for themselves which is the right pathway to God, to Allah. And for me, the pathway that I know now and I've been on for 2.5 years is the pathway of Islam. And I couldn't see going back to my life prior to Islam. I've had so many bad things happen, but I've had so much more good that has happened that since I've become a Muslim. And it's really been a life-changing event on how I look at things, on how I deal with day-to-day issues, how I deal with people every day. I think when beforehand, this is not a Christian or Muslim thing, you become jaded and you become part of the world and you become so entrenched in your world that you seem to forget about the world around you and other people. And that how, as humans, we're supposed to watch out for our brothers and sisters. We should be good to other people first instead of being bad to them first. We should care about our brothers and sisters and what they do and their well-being even before our own. And if we can make a difference in someone's life, even if it's a minor thing, you should bring a little good into someone's life before you interject any bad into their life. You should always, as a Muslim, forbid the bad and enhance the good. The people I've met along this journey have been wonderful. Muslims, Christians. I've been introduced to some really good interfaith groups. Some people seem to think that if you're one religion, that it's exclusive and they exclude you from interacting with other people. One thing I want to say is that people of faith are people of faith, and that it's good for people who believe similarly, even though there might be some doctrinal differences, for them to get together and discuss things, whether they be Christian, Jewish, Muslim, or a-religious and don't have religion. I believe that good people are good people, but there's never any excuse for people to be bad or do their fellow human wrong for any reason, regardless of race, class, socioeconomic standing, or anything else. Wow, how did my life change after Islam? There's this, I don't know, my life before was kind of like a tempest in a bucket. I went from one crisis to the other. I have got this calmness and this realization that I always have God to turn to no matter what is going bad. I can always fall on my knees and pray. I know that if I am sincere in my repentance for my sins, if I pray, that God will answer my prayers. It's made my life easier, calmer. I have a patience I didn't have before. I know that I'm not in control of this life. My life is in the hands of God, and He's in control. And all I'm trying to do every day is to live my life as best I can and do right, avoid sins, and just do the things that my religion teaches me to do. Treat others kindly, give my zakat, do my prayers, and treat other people like they're humans, like they should be treated. Oh, it's really funny because on a new Muslim, I had no beard and I was very clean shaven. And it never fails that you go somewhere and you see a Muslim, because usually you can tell people who are Pakistani or Arab or Desi and stuff, and they don't know you're Muslim. And so the look on their face always, it seems, when you go to somebody and say, "Assalamu alaikum," and they look at you like, "What?" And you say, "Yeah, brother Muslim." They go, "Oh, brother, but you have no beard." One of my friends used to say when I didn't have a beard, he would always come to me and say, "It's a sunnah, brother. Why you have no beard?" And so those funny things. And also, just the love you get. I mean, I remember the day I took my Shahada. The brothers that were at Bayyana that day, every single one of them are still in my life today. Not daily sometimes, but I get phone calls, I get email messages. "Brother, how are you doing? How are your studies going?" I can't call you a new Muslim anymore because it's been almost 3 years, but they've stayed in my life. And for someone that is busy and who's a public figure, like Brother Noman Ali Khan, to drop me just a text message to see how I'm doing. In his world where he meets thousands and thousands and thousands of people, on a daily, weekly basis, to remember me, I think is special. And the one thing I like about the people I meet, the Shaykh in this thing, in this deen, they don't, even though they're famous and well known, they don't act like divas. They don't act famous and well known. They act like any other guy you see walking down the street. Just because he has Shaykh in front of his name, or that he's on YouTube, or he gives lectures to thousands of people all around the world, they don't act like they're better than you, like they're bigger than you, they're more important. And they treat you just the same as anyone else. And that makes it a lot. And it always amazes me at how the imams, when they meet people, that they can remember all these people. There's one of them, there's thousands of us. But I have had moms I've met once or twice, and they remember my name. And I haven't seen them for months. And they, "Oh, I remember you, brother, you're so-and-so." And I'm like, how do they do that? It's amazing. And just that they're good people. I can truly say, since I've been a Muslim, I can't think of any bad experiences that I've had. There have been a couple of little things where people have been a little, but, that's people, Muslims are not perfect. Islam is perfect. And so that's why we have the opportunity that when we sin to pray and ask, and make sense of Tawbah and our forgiveness for our sins, because we're not perfect. But the key is we strive. That's one main thing about Muslims alike. Muslims, even if they're not perfect, they still strive to be perfect. And when they're not perfect, they pray for forgiveness. And they make, the ones I know at least, they make a sincere effort to live this deen to the best way they can. They don't say one thing and act another way. They really live